Hello, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. Today, we have a new friend with us. And Christine, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do?
Sure, that was a lot of questions.
I know. I'll remind you of them. Don't worry.
My name is Chris Zaccarelli. I am the CEO at the Crime Victim Center of Chester County. We are a 24/7 victims advocacy agency providing direct service support and prevention education to victims and their families throughout the county and also to the residents of the county. All of our services are completely free. They are completely confidential. They are irrelevant of income, and you do not have to have notified law enforcement.
Oh, okay, good.
And I forget the rest of the questions already.
Who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do.
Okay. Yeah, so what I do is I'm the CEO. So I manage our staff of 34 right now and growing. We have one more position that we are hoping to hire soon. We are a private nonprofit agency. Some folks think that we're affiliated with the county because we do have 5 team members that have offices in the county. But we're not a county agency. We're a private standalone nonprofit. So I manage our budget, manage our team, take care of our policies and procedures, and during a time of COVID, do everything I can to keep everybody safe.
And that's a big job by itself, for sure.
Sure is.
Yeah, because you guys have, I mean, I have to imagine you have to be hands-on and there to actually help someone.
Absolutely. When the shutdown order came down in March, we did close the office, but we've never stopped serving our clients in Chester County. We were doing everything via phone right in March, and then in May, our courts started to open up again. We have advocates in the Children's Advocacy Center that address suspected child abuse and assist with forensic interviews by providing accompaniment to those interviews. And they started up at the beginning of May. And then the courts slowly started to open up until August when jury trials returned. And then finally in November, we returned to the hospitals providing hospital accompaniment for victims of sexual assault and all other crimes that might require a medical accompaniment. So since November, we've been at full service. Our counselors are providing service through doxy.me and also telephone for clients that like it. And then our prevention education team has obviously shifted all of their programming to a virtual format. And we've just been adapting. And that's kind of where we are now. We're providing all the services that we were providing before the pandemic. We're providing now. They just look a little bit different. And then our staff's not in the office right now. Most of our team is working remotely from home. I'm in the office. This is not my house, but I'm the only one here right now.
Yeah. You do such important work. And I'm sure it's kind of one of those hidden things under the radar that people don't think about on a daily basis or at all, especially if their life is not impacted by something like this or any kind of violence. So thank you for what you're doing. It's incredible that you're there for people in their time of need and in a sometimes traumatic events.
I always say thank you when folks thank me for the work that we do, but I don't do that work. I try to make sure that all of our team has the resources they need to do the work. So they're the ones that really deserve our thanks and our praise and our gratitude, because they're the ones that are out there every day and sometimes all day, being that support system for victims when they might not have anybody else to lean on.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do people who need your assistance, how do they find you? How do they find out about what you can do for them?
Interviews like this. Our law enforcement partners, all of the local municipal law enforcement departments and the state police and the district attorney's office are probably our #1 source of referral for when something has actually happened. We also are very involved with our local chambers, the Exton Region Chamber of Commerce, the Southern Chester County Chamber of Commerce, to name a few, and just trying to get the word out, because the unique thing about our services is that anyone can need them next week.
True.
this afternoon, tomorrow. So we do not, as I mentioned, we don't have income guidelines. And so we really have to get the word out to anybody and everybody, so that if their neighbor or their child or their coworker, oh, I heard about the Crime Victim Center when I was at a chamber meeting last week, they might be able to help you. So that's one of the ways that we get the word out. We have very active social media, our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page, my personal LinkedIn profile, and then we also have an Instagram page. And then the last step is we have an advocate that actually works in the district attorney's office, who sends out notifications to every victim in Chester County whose case has made it to the district attorney's office,
Okay.
where criminal charges have been filed. So she sends out victims' rights and information about our services in a mailing to everybody. So that's if they've gotten to the criminal justice system and they somehow haven't heard about us yet. That's kind of the last step where folks will hopefully hear about it and reach out if they need assistance.
Yeah. So you did just mention a bunch of social medias sites that you're on. Can you what tagline are you under? How do they find you?
So if you just search Crime Victim Center of Chester County,
Okay.
you can find us on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Christine Zaccarelli is my personal LinkedIn profile. I'm always happy to connect with folks that have an interest in getting to know more about what we do and who we are. And then I'm not that familiar with Instagram because I don't use it that often. So I would imagine that if you search Crime Victim Center of Chester County, it will come up.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. There's only so many social media I can be on. It's just, it becomes a full-time job at some point.
We have our community engagement coordinator. It's part of her responsibility. She's our volunteer coordinator, and she also handles our social media for us. So it would be a full-time job, but unfortunately we don't have the resources for that. So it's part of a full-time job description.
Yeah, I believe it. So, your work is challenging in and of itself, but how do you find, what are some of the challenges that you have faced as a professional woman in your industry?
So I was talking to a friend about this the other day, ironically enough, that I came to CVC. I was an attorney at Legal Aid of Southeastern Pennsylvania. So I've been a part of the nonprofit community here in Chester County for most of my professional career. And when I was an attorney at Legal Aid, I had a little drawer that all my case files were in there that needed something. So I put Post-it notes on top of them. And every once in a while, I would go home and that drawer would be empty because everything was calm for the moment. And I'd wake up the next day and I'd realize, okay, I don't have any court today. That drawer is empty. You know what? I think I'm going to take the day off today. That never happens when you're the CEO, ever. The drawer, that proverbial drawer, is never empty. So it's been a challenge to step away at 5:30, 6 o'clock at night and just kind of manage. And I'm still learning. I've only been in the role for 3 years. So I'm still kind of learning, okay, this can wait till tomorrow. Like, it's okay for you to go home. Your to-do list is never going to be done. And just trying to balance, the deadlines and the funding deadlines. We obviously have a very robust funders, and there's reports and grants and all types of things, and all the insurances that need to be up, kept up, and all that kind of stuff. So just balancing that and trying to step away is, I think, one of the biggest challenges.
That's hard. It's very hard, and especially I think right now working from home still, and during the past year, people working from home. It's hard to set those boundaries within your own home because you're working, but you're at home. So it's easy to oh, I'm just going to eat dinner and then come back and work. I'm just going to answer a couple emails. And the next thing you know, it's 2 hours later. So
yeah, so I'm smiling because my husband and I downsized in the summer of 2018.
Oh.
We were supposed to be, all capitals, empty nesters. My son just graduated from Cal U of PA this past December, and our daughter is a junior at Westchester University in their social work program.
Oh, cool.
And she was at Robert Morris out in Pittsburgh when we purchased a condo that we lived in now. And she transferred home in the summer of 19. Mm-hmm. So before the pandemic hit, she was home with us, but our son was still at Cal U. So when the pandemic hit, our son was actually on spring break and he never went back.
Mm.
So we don't have, it's a 1,400 square foot condo that 2 people were supposed to live in, not 4. And we sure as heck were not expecting to need 4 workspaces because both of our kids were virtual so I've been coming into the office a lot more just because I don't have, like, the kitchen table is my workspace and it's, hey mom, what's, oh, come downstairs. What are you having for lunch? Like, it's just so distracting. So it's been easier to come in here, but that for those first couple of weeks when we weren't allowed in the office and when we were home, it was an adjustment because we were like, I'm on a Zoom, shh, and just so, and then, so now it's like you walk around, you're like, is your video on? Like, is your sound on? So it's definitely been an adjustment. But it's been, I wouldn't have wanted our kids anywhere else except home, when this whole thing happened. So we made it work.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing better than making sure they're okay because they're under your roof.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Very important.
exactly.
Yeah. But it is funny what you're saying about, when you're on a Zoom and you're like, shh, I do hand signals with my family because they'll come in and they'll start coming through the threshold of the room and I'll do a sign with my hand. I'm like, no, no, no. It's just like we all have our own little things, right?
Yep.
Oh goodness. Or I had the UPS guy driving down the street and I know my dog's going to go crazy. It's just, oh no, here we go. I mute myself, Oh, too much fun. So those are the fun comedic moments of the past year for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. So, obviously you guys have had to do major pivoting during the pandemic. Is there light at the end of the tunnel? I guess it might be too soon to ask this question. Is there light at the end of the tunnel that, you won't be in the office by yourself, that slowly, people can come back into your office?
Well, we were fortunate. The majority of the team that wanted to be vaccinated is in the process of getting their second shots right now. I'm actually scheduled for my first one in a week and a half on Monday.
Great.
So yeah, so by the end of May, all our team that wants to be vaccinated will be fully vaccinated. So we're anticipating late summer.
Okay.
A return to, but we're definitely going to use a hybrid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of work done working from home for the past 14 months.
Yep.
So there's no reason why we need to completely abandon that and flick the switch and turn the pandemic off and go back to what CVC looked like before. So we actually have a team meeting. We have staff team meetings every Monday. And the one this Monday is to talk about what does it look like when we go back? Because that might look different to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm hearing that across the board. Like every company is different. Some companies are like, like you said, everybody's been completely productive and we don't need them to come back. It'll be like hotel space at the office and people can rotate in, rotate out. And some industries are like, no, we need our people back in. It just depends on, I guess what you're doing and, how much client facing stuff that you have to do or behind the scenes. I, for one, was completely shocked at how productive I could be working from home because I really thought I'd be sitting here working and then looking up and seeing like dust on the fan blade that normally would never bother me until it's time to work. And I'd be like, oh, wait a minute, I got to go do that. And then I got to do this and I got to do, but it didn't happen. I was actually completely productive. So I shocked myself. So, there is part of me is like, do a quasi part home, part work type, part office, part working from home. And I think that's kind of like a happy medium and you may see more and more of that for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a happy medium for us because we miss each other.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, this work is hard.
Yes.
And it's hard on the team not to see each other and you'd be like, oh, you're not going to believe what happened in court this afternoon. And they don't have those moments as easily when they're together here. So we definitely, and our office is located just up the street from the Justice Center.
Mm-hmm.
Our advocates are in court. Somebody's in court almost every day, Monday through Friday. So it's convenient, our location where we are and for them to be in court. So we'll definitely use a hybrid that's going to be pretty flexible based on everybody's schedules and what they have going on.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So futuristic type question. When you are thinking about retirement, what's your retirement vision? How do you see it?
Not working. I have really high standards for that.
That's a good one.
You know what? Actually, it's part of my stress management is talking about what retirement looks like for my husband and I. We will be celebrating 27 years of marriage this May, next month. Thank you. So we have our small condo in Westchester, and we are also incredibly fortunate to have a small townhome in the mountains up just outside of Hazleton.
Oh, cool.
Pennsylvania. So retirement for us looks like spending time at both of those houses that will be paid off by then, because we did downsize and we have cut back on expenses and things like that. And initially traveling. We want to do a lot of traveling. And of course, the kids, we're not, I don't want to be the mom and dad that chase their kids all over the country. Although there's nothing wrong with that. I just would like to stay put and so we'll, but so it depends on where they both said that they want to stay close to Chester County, for which I'm very, very grateful. So spending time with them, that's what it looks like for the immediate future.
That's fantastic. Love it. Love it. I want to thank you for joining me today. It is definitely eye-opening for the work that you do. And again, thank you and your team for all that you guys are doing for, just to help people out. It's very important stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I'm always willing and happy to talk about CBC.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to our viewers. We appreciate you being here with us as well. Again, I'm Regina McCann Hess. I'm president of Forge Wealth Management. My website is forgewealth.com. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Forge Wealth. And on LinkedIn, I'm Regina McCann Hess. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you.